My name's Nigel Andrews. I've been piloting the Spitfire while it's had its new motor in, so I've been flying off the test hours. The owner, Jerry Finch, built this aircraft 5 or 6 or 7 years ago from original Mark V Spitfire plans. It's a full-scale Spitfire. The original plans he had to source from 3 or 4 different locations because the original factory plans were destroyed in a fire, and he converted it all over to CAD. So it's one of the only probably versions of a Mark V Spitfire on a computer. Cruises about 170 knots, climbs out at about 2,500 foot per minute. Yeah, very nice machine. The original Mark V's, when they flew it, they didn't have they just had straight glass on it, and of course the guys couldn't get their head out to look around, so they invented the bubble, which has been characteristic of the Spitfire ever since. So as you can see, it's original as far as we can get it. The stick, as you notice, it's only forward and reverse for the pitch, which is normal, but the ailerons actually swivel, so the stick itself doesn't move. And I've never really been told why, but I think it's because the pilots really couldn't do a big manoeuvre by pulling the stick over without hitting their legs. So it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, it's fine. The instruments, of course, are all modern. The tail wheel on this aircraft is actually a very conventional sort of design, one that you might see on a Pawnee. The original Spitfire had a castering wheel that had no controls on it, and I've flown this thing in a few crosswinds, and without that steerable tail wheel it's a bit of a handful, so I don't know how the guys used to do it, other than in England they just had big paddocks and they could line up in any direction for the wind. They're a pussycat to fly. I can understand why low-hour pilots really didn't struggle too hard with the flying of the plane. They probably had more fear of the engine. The engine would have been quite a thing to manage. Yeah, just a nice aircraft.